On today's video, we are going to be taking 4 outdated thrifted items and we are going to be making them into gorgeous cottage style spring decor. The first project is this tray that I thrifted for $5. I gave it a good clean and then I gave it 2 coats of Crinoline paint from DIY. Crinoline is a gorgeous creamy off-white color. We are going to be adding a napkin that I purchased to decoupage on the center of it, and it's going to turn out absolutely gorgeous. I think you are going to love how this project turns out, and we're going to be making a big impact on the next several projects as well. Make sure that you stick around to the end so that you see all of these gorgeous spring projects, and y'all let me know which one of these projects is your favorite. My name is Emily. I'm with J. Bowen & Company. Thanks so much for clicking on my video. If you've been here before, welcome back. And if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so happy that you decided to spend your time here with me today. Now, DIY paint is a clay-based paint, so it can be reactivated with water. So DIY paint does need to have a sealer on it or it can be reactivated. But the great part about DIY paint is if it gets on the handles or you want to wet distress it, it's very easy to wipe off. I'm now applying a second coat of paint and now you can see what a gorgeous creamy color this is. It's absolutely beautiful. Last fall, I went to Wisconsin to Sonnet's Art Retreat, and I met a lot of really great creators and new friends. And one day we went shopping to an antique store and we found these gorgeous napkins. Several of us decided to purchase a package of the napkins and then we split them up between all of us, and this is the first time I'm getting around to making something with one of the napkins. This is a gorgeous print. It's got birds and these different kind of rusty color, kind of oranges and yellows, but I thought it looked cottage style and perfect for spring. So this napkin turned out to be a 3-ply napkin, so you have to very gently tear them apart. And then I went around the edges with my fingers trying to kind of score this napkin. At first I thought about cutting it, but then on second thought I decided that I would just decoupage the whole thing down and then I would just wet tear the edges apart. Now when you decoupage napkins, you have to be very careful because they're extremely thin, and when they get wet with a decoupage medium, they are going to tear very easily. So the first thing that I'm doing is I'm taking out this liquid patina, and I tried to be very careful to go around the edges, but I was a little bit sloppier than I should have been and a little bit got up on the edges, but I was trying my hardest to do this. At first I just kind of forgot that I was trying to be very careful. So what you want to do is you want to just add on a good coat of your decoupage medium. I am using DIY's liquid patina, which is a decoupage medium and also a top coat. The good part about this liquid patina is you can use it inside or outside. So now I'm carefully laying this napkin down and then I'm rubbing it gently with my hands to get out all of the wrinkles. But like I said, you have to be very careful because napkins are so thin when they're just 1-ply like this. So I'm pulling it up a little bit, adding a little bit more medium, and I'm just trying to gently get all of the wrinkles out. So I thought I would do something a little different. Usually I use my whimsical papers or JRV papers, but now I'm using this napkin just so you can see this technique if you happen to have some napkins around the house or you see some really pretty ones out and about. Home Goods and places like that usually have some really, really pretty ones. So now I took out my brayer and I am just using it to flatten out my napkin. After I get it all flattened out, I'm taking my brush again and this liquid patina and I'm going to put a top coat on the top. just to seal in the napkin. But like I said, be very careful. I ended up, I guess, just brushing a little too hard in one spot, and it tore the napkin a little bit, but right there on that bird, it tore a little bit. But the thing is, you really can't tell. It's not noticeable at all. It's now been several days and the liquid patina has fully dried, so I took out some water and a paintbrush, and I'm just going to go around the edges, wet the napkin, and pull it off of the tray. So I just did this until I continued around the entire tray. It was kind of hard to tell exactly where it was stuck on the tray with the decoupage medium, or where it was just hanging off. I really wanted it to be square, so I did my best to get it off as much as I could. But by the time I finish this project, it's going to end up looking really good, and so it doesn't really matter if it's perfectly even or straight anyway. If you're interested in purchasing any of the paints, waxes, or products used in this video today, including the Iron Orchid Designs that you'll see later, you can purchase them on my website, and I'll have my website linked right in the comments. It'll be the first comment, so if you would like to go shopping and purchase any of these items so you can make something similar, I'll have that linked right there in the comments. I'll also have my website and the products, any products that I use in this video besides the napkins, I will have them also linked in my description as well. I'm now taking out my clear wax from DIY, and I'm going to go around the edges of this tray with the clear wax first. The next thing after this, I'm going to go over it with some Fusion Aging Wax on top of it. If you put your clear wax first, it's going to seal your piece, and then when you go back with the aging wax, it won't get so dark looking, because I really don't want it to look really dark. I just want to enhance some of the raised up areas and the details on the tray. I really want these projects to look kind of antique and vintage and cottagey, so I thought adding some aging wax would do the trick without it being too dark or, you know, dingy or dirty looking. So I'm just applying this Fusion Aging Wax, and then I'm going to go back with a towel and I'm going to wipe it off so it just has a nice antique finish. It may be a little hard to see in this video, but on top of the napkin, it just gives it a nice aged look and brings out a little bit of the details. I also like how it adds to the handles, and it makes the handles look like they kind of blend in a little bit better because it adds some of that brown color. So now I'm taking Arcadia Pair. It is one of the new Fusion Mineral Paint colors, and I'm going to paint the back side of this tray. I'm going to give it 2 coats of this paint. So in case you didn't know, I carry Fusion Mineral Paint, DIY paint, Rethunk Junk paint, as well as JRV papers and Whimsical papers. If you're local, you can find the Fusion Mineral Paint and the Iron Orchid Designs at Detail Link in Beaufort, Georgia, near the Mall of Georgia. And you can find the Rethunk Junk paint, the DIY paint, and the Whimsical papers at the OCC, that's out of the Cedar Chest in Gainesville, Georgia. I'm now going to add some of those little felt feet on the bottom of this tray just so it'll slide around easily. I always keep a bunch of these on hand, and I'm just going to add them right on top of the pre-existing ones. I didn't take the time to take all of the stickiness off because I knew that I would be adding on new ones. Y'all check out that up close detail with that napkin. Isn't it gorgeous? If you like how this tray turned out, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. The next project is this set of candle holders that I purchased for $2 each. They are large candle holders. I found them at the thrift store for half off, and I decided that I would give them a coat of this Prairie Sunset color from Fusion Mineral Paint. Prairie Sunset is a gorgeous buttery yellow color. Fusion Mineral Paint has a built-in primer, a built-in top coat, and it is self-leveling. Because of all the different crevices in these candle holders, I decided to get out my pointed paintbrush to get in the little nooks and crannies. But because of this, it was kind of messy painting these, so paint was splattering everywhere. So you got to be careful when you're painting this because paint will get absolutely everywhere. I ended up doing 2 coats of paint in order to get full coverage on these candle holders. I know everyone is not a fan of yellow, but I thought yellow would be bright and cheery for spring, and I thought that they would coordinate well with the tray. But if yellow is not your color of choice, you can do this technique with any color that you choose. It would be really pretty with off-white, with any shade of green, light blue, whatever you want to do. But I decided to do this yellow color, and here I am giving it a second coat of paint. After the paint had completely dried, I then took out my aging Fusion wax and I completely covered the candle holder with the wax, and I got down in all the crevices and cracks, and then I'm going to wipe it away. I love how this technique really enhances your piece and it accentuates all of the details in the piece. I'm then going to take out my towel and I'm going to wipe it back. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, now would be a great time to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming projects. I have a lot of great spring projects coming up, and I cannot wait for you to see what all we will be doing in the future. Check out the side-by-side comparison so you can see how one looks with the antique wax and one without it. If you don't like the antique wax, of course, you can always skip that step. You could also use a white wax if you choose. I love how these candle holders turned out. If you're getting any ideas or inspiration, I would love for you to give me a thumbs up and let me know what project you will be working on next. The next project is this wooden bowl that I purchased at a thrift store. It was a little bit messed up on the inside. It was just one of these brown wooden bowls. It says not for food consumption. It was from Target from, I believe, about 2006. And I wanted to do a little bit of an experiment here. At first, I thought that I was going to paint it, but then I thought I would just use a little white wax on it and see how it turned out. So I gave it a good clean and scuffed it up just a little bit. And now I'm just taking out DIY white wax just to put some white wax on it and give it a little bit different look. So I'm not convinced that I love this look, but I want y'all to let me know what you think. I thought if for some reason I didn't like it, I can easily take off that wax. I thought even about just running it through the dishwasher to get the wax off, and if I didn't like it. But if you look closely, there are a ton of tiny little bitty indentions on this bowl, so the the wax is getting deep into those indentions, and then I'm just going to rub it off. So y'all let me know when this project is finished what you think about this white wax bowl. I'm kind of on the fence with it, so I need your opinion on what you think about it. Did you see Mr. Big at the front of the video? That is my brother's dog and sister-in-law's dog, and he is staying with us for the weekend. He's back. We always love when Mr. Big is here. If you're still watching this video, I would love for you to give me a green heart so I know that you're here. So just leave me a green heart emoji in the comments. I ended up getting some moss that I had in my craft supplies, and I just added it to the bowl. And here is the final product. It looks like something you would find at Pottery Barn to me now. If you like this project, let me know. The next project is this tote that I purchased at a thrift store. Last year I painted it white, and then I just added some stamps on it. I stamped herbs on the front of it. Put it in my antique store, in my booth. However, that booth I had to close because the store was going out of business, or I believe that was the case, and sure enough, that was the case. So anyway, it's been at my house ever since. So I decided that I would just use some stamps on it just to jazz it up a little. So I took out this stamp set. I believe it's called La Campagne. I might be totally butchering that name. The first thing that you want to do when you open up a new stamp set is you need to scuff it up with some sandpaper and then wipe it clean. This will allow your paint or your ink to adhere to the stamp set a little bit better. I then took out my green New Grass. It's called New Grass Green ink from IOD, and I decided that I would add some of these animals to the sides of the piece. There's a rooster, and then there's some sheep. There's some cows. Anyway, I love this stamp set. I purchased it not too long ago just because I thought it was really cool. I have a couple of these on my website for sale if you're interested in purchasing this particular stamp set. I love how the green looks. It looks fresh and pretty for spring. So I'm just going to add a little bit to jazz up this tote. So I inked up this cow image. I ended up having to press down kind of hard on the image with the ink to get the ink on there, and for some reason I cannot find my brayer. I have no idea what I did with it. It's usually right there in my little toolkit, but I'm not sure what I did with that. But anyway, I'm just taking the different images. This is the second set, and I'm going to scuff it up so next time I know it's all the way scuffed up. But there is a strawberry image. There's also, I believe, a blueberry image as well, but I'm going to take the strawberry image and I'm just going to add it to the sides of this cow image. I like when you do a solid color like a green or blue. I have green ink, blue ink, black ink, a yellow color ink. It's kind of like a mustard color. All of them are really pretty and they turn out looking really good. It looks kind of like toile or chinoise. How do you say that? Chinoiserie. Anyway, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I have actually looked it up and Googled it how to pronounce it, but I didn't do it lately. But anyway, I'm just adding these little images to the edges of it just to give it a little bit extra look. I think this tote would be cute to put, your salt and pepper in it. You can put plants or store whatever it is that you might like to store in this. I had previously priced it for $24.95. I'm just going to keep it at that price and see if it sells in my booth. Speaking of my projects, I've had several people ask me where they can purchase these projects. I'm tempted to put them on my website. If any of you would be interested in purchasing any of these projects that I complete, y'all just let me know. Let me know in the comments if y'all would like to purchase the actual projects, and if so, I could put them for sale on my website and then you could purchase them there. So this was just a some kind of flower. I think it's roses or something, some kind of bouquet, but I thought it would look neat to add it to the upper edges of the sides. Now, I didn't let these sides completely dry, so if you're not in a hurry, I would suggest letting them dry completely before you do the edges, but I'm trying to be really careful here. If you haven't checked out my latest video, it will be up on the screen at the end of this video, so y'all go ahead and check that out. And now for the final reveal. I think this ended up turning out pretty cute. And I have all of the different colors of inks available for sale on my website. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you in the comments.
He's back! Mr. Big is back!